Hello, my name is Lilia Carr-Dennis and I have been a teacher of English for about 12 years now. Today, I'd really love to talk to you about integrating nature into our English lessons. Here is a bit of scientific background for you, and I want to give credit to Florence Williams, who wrote an incredible book titled The Nature Fix, where she talked about all those correlations between a human's brain functioning and spending time in nature, being in nature. In particular, one bit of research that excited me a lot had to do with the brainwave states. As you may know, or as you may have heard, the brain activity can be measured. And in a normal person's brain activity, what could be measured is that the brain functions and produces a beta brainwave when some special device titled EEG is being connected to a person's brain. The signals, the electromagnetic signals coming from the brain are registered by this by this device. And we can measure a person's brain state in various types of life situations. For instance, they measured a person's brain activity when a person was involved into the hustle and bustle of a daily life. And then what they did is they asked a volunteer to wear a wearable EEG device when that person was walking in nature, just exploring a local park trail or anything. And apparently the brainwave changed, and the different brainwave that the person had at that time would have to be titled alpha brainwave. And it was discovered that when a person goes into an alpha brainwave mode, they get calmer and they get more conducive to learning. We remember better, we memorize things better when we actually feel calm, when we feel relaxed and positive. Yesterday I was attending a conference where there was an incredible talk done by a person whose name is Vlada Vasilyeva, and Vlada Vasilyeva is a neuro-language coach. Neuro-language coaching is a new thing that is appearing in the world these days, and this approach to learning a language is permeating the arena of ELT these days. It boils down to the fact that we can find the correspondent brain states that correlate with conducive learning scenarios. So the research is going on, and we are finding certain correspondence between a person's brain state and their learning ability. When we're in alpha, we're more conducive to learning. Nature really plays into that. So we're going to talk about some ways of integrating nature into your English lessons. 1. A guided visualization. Did you guys know that our brain makes absolutely no difference between actually being at a place and imagining ourselves being at a certain place? That's the exact reason why thinking back to ourselves sitting in a little old wooden conservatory, smelling in some incredible cherry jam that your grandma was putting into glass jars feels so incredible and refreshing. That's the exact reason why visualizations work so well. So if you have no access to real nature, no worries. You can actually go there by closing your eyes and inducing the very same chemical reactions that will play out as emotions in your body and read as emotions and registered as feelings by your body. That's why it could be so incredibly fruitful. As you may know from my earlier videos, I'm a massive fan of guided visualizations or guided meditations, where a narrator takes you on a fantastic journey, and that journey culminates in you finding out something unique and ubiquitous about yourself. Those journeys are very symbolic, and very often they involve an elaborate use of people's senses. Taking your student on a journey like that might help you set them into the right mood to explore the lesson content more smoothly. In addition to that, it's a great way to encourage your student to practice their listening ability in a way that is relaxing and liberating, while you will be able to help your student allow to let go of situations that could have been bothering him or her. You will also put them into the brain alpha state that will be very conducive to learning, as we have seen today. You may ask your student to produce a guided visualization of their own. They might write it and then they could take you on a little walk in return in the following lesson. Or they might just, say it and create it with the flow. Why not? That might be a great impromptu activity to practice spontaneous speaking, which I highly recommend. I have noticed a trend in how afraid people are when we just have to speak spontaneously without any prior preparation. So the more we encourage our students to express their ideas in an open-minded, in a very kind of fluid type of way, the more ready they will be, the more confident they will become to speak spontaneously without any prior preparation. A guided visualization might be a great way to practice present simple. Present simple is one of those mundane, mediocre, kind of very trivial tenses that is very difficult to have fun with. However, I think taking your student on a little guided visualization, mental, intellectual, imaginary retreat will allow them to make use of some of those present simple instruction giving constructions. For instance, you're walking along the path. That's a great way to practice present continuous, and you see a little door in a fence just next to you. You come up to that door and you look at the door. What a beautiful door it is. You look at the handle. The handle is gilded and you feel like you really want to touch the handle, but something is holding you back. Could it be an old friend? You can take a friend with you. Before we go to bed, there is often a person who comes up in our mind who we have been missing for quite a long time. As you can see, some interplay of tenses is going on, and it's a great idea to help your students see how those tenses can be interconnected in a real life situation. Senses vocabulary can be taught extremely easily when we're talking about nature sounds, nature views, nature smells, nature tastes. Many people associate nature with bugs and worms, but it doesn't have to be like that. Nature has all different facets to it, and it holds this cumulative regenerative effect for a human being too. Ask your student to listen to some sounds of nature for a minute or something, and ask them to write a bit of text based on the thing that they will have heard. You may also choose to play some sounds of nature in the background, as according to Florence Williams's research, they do help create those conducive learning brain states in a person. So make use of that, why not? We're living in a world where various disciplines keep permeating into each other so that we're forming a holistic view of the planet we're living on and the entire cosmos, dare I say that. So make sure you're in the front line and you integrate the things that you can integrate into your teaching for the benefit of every learner that you teach. You can easily turn the sounds of nature into a free writing activity. Just play a sound of nature, such as the sound of rain tapping on some tin roof, or a cat purring using a website purrly.com, which I truly recommend. It's incredible. Ask your students to listen to that sound for 5 minutes, and while they'll be listening, they will have to jot down the thoughts that pop up into their minds as they'll be hearing those particular sounds. Make sure you don't limit the number of words that your students should write, because when we're limited to a number of words, that's a bit tense, isn't it? That's a kind of a very contrived type of environment. Just tell your students to keep writing for 5 minutes straight and see how many words they come up with, so they can feel they're in charge of this activity. 3. Here is an observation exercise. Practicing observation skills is extremely valid. Today we're being inundated by various information sources, and it's kind of very difficult to tune into that silence that can be very healing in and of itself. Get your students to just close their eyes for a moment and listen to the silence around them. There is no complete silence wherever you go. Actually, on our planet there are apparently quite a few places, not very many places left, rather, where you can hear complete silence, where you can bathe in it. When your students are in silence, there is high probability they will tune into little sounds that they might not have observed or picked up yet. And that's an interesting experiment. People are naturally curious creatures. So allow your students to bring that wonder into your class. See what sounds they can hear. Let them be the runners of their own activity, all right? Whatever sounds they hear, that's fine. Get them to listen to unusual sounds that they could not have probably spotted before and see what sounds they come up with. What an incredible idea to finish a lesson with. By no means should we forget that nature not only includes trees and flowers and bushes and lakes, but it also includes animals. For that particular reason, I really value the work that National Geographic Learning, or NGL, has done in the field of English language teaching by publishing books such as Impact, for instance, to encourage teenage learners, for example, to participate in the wider world, in the world that is bigger than oneself. And that is an incredible way to introduce your students to the environment we're all inhabiting together. I was recently watching a documentary film on Gaia, and what a guy there was talking about is he was talking about a planetary view that some people took. I'm not going to disclose all the details, but in a nutshell, he said that there was a civilization once where people regarded themselves as neurons and their planet as the brain. And every person, like every neuron, was playing their own unique and particular role in helping the whole planetary organism maintain homeostasis and remain happy and generally healthy. That's an attitude that I'm very much a proponent of. I think that we need to take more and more of that attitude on our planet these days, and using those incredible NGL resources might be a great step in the right direction. And as we now know, psychology dictates biology. Psychology informs biology. Once we have a healthy mental health situation in the world, we will be able to let go of so many physical ailments that we're currently struggling with. There is a deep correlation, a very closely and tightly linked correlation between our physical health and our mental health. And as teachers, as a driving force behind society, we have this power to inspire our learners to become effective human beings who are able to manage their internal environments and external environments as we're progressing very fast towards an awakened society. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be very happy to welcome you back in a few days' time, and I'll see you soon. From the bottom of my heart, I love you.